Hello everyone, we are here with another fusion analysis video. So Jetni fusion has arrived and the Dragon tournament is already live. So it is the usual fragment structure. There will be a total of 115 available fragments normal way, and there will be 40 additional fragments available in the form of the top 2 spots receive 5 fragments in the 8 tournaments that are available in the frame of this fusion. So today is May the 11th, and we have the dungeon tournament, dragon tournament up, and tomorrow we will have the summon rush and the dungeon diver starting. 2 days later we have the arena, the artifact enhancement event, and champion training event that's going on. And the champion training event is thankfully 5 days, so we can take our time, and the training pit comes in handy there. And after that we have the ice golem tournament, then we have a break. We then have the second dungeon divers fire night, a champion chase. This will be during double ancients. And then we have the second arena, second artifact enhancement event, followed by a champion training tournament here. The difference that separates these two are the books and the ascensions. In champion training events you don't get points from ascending your champions and booking your champions. In here you do. And then we have the spider tournament that lines up with third dungeon divers and artifact enhancement, the last. And so this is a fragment fusion, guys, fragment type of event, and that means we can actually summon this whenever we want, right? We can just keep our 100 fragments ready, and we can summon the boss whenever we want. And the most useful time to do it would be during CVC, where she will net us a nice amount of 30,000 points. So let's go into detail on how to approach this, right? So I would suggest holding off on dragon today. Maybe just do like 3 or 4 runs on it to get your advanced quest done if you haven't, but do hold off and save your energies. If you haven't bought the clan shop energy yet or so, right? Any sort of available energy. And tomorrow we jump in after dungeon divers goes live, right? And by doing that, right, if we finish dragon tournament on the 12th and the 13th, then we will have the ice golem overlapping with dungeon divers on the 15th. And if we go hard at that ice golem, that means we will get to almost complete and probably actually complete that dungeon divers without spending 1 additional energy, guys. So 1 days of wait after dragon tournament gets released, and 1 day of wait to get ice golem tournament released, right? Here we do the dragon, and here we do the ice golem. So that's gonna end up at 5, 10 and 15 fragments already. And as I said, this is with spending 0 additional energy, right? When a dragon tournament comes, when an ice golem tournament comes, most of us go do it, right? And this is just basically a free dungeon divers, which is nice. 5, 10, 15. And arena takedown tournaments are almost free, 20. And if you hold off with your cleansing artifacts up until this point, after your ice golem is done, you can go cleanse the gear from your dragon and ice golem tournament, and that will kind of get the artifact enhancement event done. So that is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 easy fragments, right? As for the summon rush, that is always the challenging part with fusions. You will have to have some shards at the ready, right, to get the so the summon rush 20 works this way, guys. So in a relatively modest spot they put up 5 shards, and in a deep spot they put up 15 more shards, and those 15 shards are extra, and they allow you to skip activities worth 15 points. But the problem with that is, I mean, you will be actually opening your shards during a regular time, right? Non-double chance. You will only have some 10x events going on, and 10x events are not very good unless you are near your mercy, right? So there's that. And the thing is, I mean, people get really excited about this, but I mean, skipping any of these events here is not very, I mean, useful, right? I mean, dungeon diver skips are useful, I agree, because sometimes, I mean, they make the fragments very deep, so you will have to waste a lot of energy. But the thing is, guys, the first dungeon divers should not be skipped, right? Because as I said, it's going to autocomplete. So for example, if I had infinite shards, which I don't, but if I had infinite shards and I got this, I would not be skipping activities worth 15 shards, so that would be a waste as well. So I would not be getting full value from the 15 shards I skipped, and I would also be opening my shards during a non-double chance time, right? So this is, I would say, very much not worth it at all. And I'm sure some of you will think, oh, I can skip the artifact enhancement events, those are pretty nasty. But the thing is, guys, skipping artifact enhancement events is not something good, right? So this is a false perception, because you think, I mean, you are suffering silver wise, and it would be nice to skip the artifact enhancement event, right? That's not incorrect. That's okay, fine. But the thing is, guys, I mean, you will get your silver at some point, and you will upgrade your gear, right? And what is a better time to do it other than artifact enhancement events, right? Because, I mean, if I get a champion now and upgrade all of his gear, I will be getting nothing in return other than the upgrades itself. But if I do it during artifact enhancement event, you will be getting a lot of goodies in return, right? I mean, you get energy, you get gems, you get skill books, blah, 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 blah. So that's why it's not very good to skip artifact enhancement events. But guys, I mean, if you are horribly suffering for silver, I guess you could grab this. You could skip one of these artifact enhancement events and maybe both dungeon divers. Then it could be good. But normally, this is a double loss for me. I will rather open my shards during double chance, and I will also rather not skip events that I don't have to skip. And following, we have champion training event, which will last 5 days. As I said, the training pit, especially fully upgraded, will come in very handy there. It will provide us with quite a bit of points, right? And if you have champions that can solo these dungeons, right, ice golem, etc., I mean, you could solo run these dungeons and get some points from there, or maybe you could leave one or two guys out. So that's going to be a little challenging, but brews are your friend here, so that will be done. And the second dungeon diver starts, we wait 1 day, and then Fire Night tournament starts. We go hard at Fire Night, and that probably, most likely, will not be enough, guys. I mean, just finishing Fire Night and stopping will most likely not be enough. So there will be some overshooting there, I would say, right? We will have to overshoot that Fire Night tournament. Of course, you could do it somewhere else, right? I mean, for example, if silver is very tight, you could just go for Spider. But, I mean, I'd rather go for the active dungeon, because, I mean, that could secure me a rank that is higher than what I should be getting. And, of course, this is during Ancient Shard double chance thingy. So, for the champion chase, guys, I mean, we will probably all open all of our Ancient Shards, but also keep in mind to have some fusion save, the crappy Broadmow Relic Keeper fusions, right? They could be used for it. Or maybe if you have some Doom Tower epics, that they could be used for points. I would definitely advise against summoning any legendary champions here, because, guys, a legendary in a champion chase tournament is worth double an epic, right? So an epic is worth 250 and the legendary is worth 500, right? But, I mean, if you compare it during Summer Rush, one sacred shard is worth 500, and one ancient shard is worth 20, and one void shard is worth 120. So the gap is huge. So you might, I mean, well, sacred shard was not the correct thing, but I mean in clan vs clan, that's what I meant actually. So in clan vs clan, a new epic is worth 4,000 points and a new legendary is worth 30,000 points, right? 7.5 times the difference. But in here it's just 2, so I mean, unless it's your last resort, you should save your legendary summons for especially personal clan vs clans. And you could do some clans here, and you could try to go for this artifact enhancement event, and hopefully that will be enough. And you could not go for completing it all, but maybe just grabbing the fragment and then stopping. That could be that, or maybe you could delve into the forge a little bit, right? That could be also another thing. And so guys, by the way, we have something very nice. We have the world's easiest champion training tournament coming actually. It dawned on me just now. So this tournament is absolutely free. I will explain why. So this classic arena takedown is free again. So this is actually, guys, this is when the CVC starts, right? So it's a CVC, and in CVC is where we use our skill books, right? And we ascend our champions for the points in CVC. And that will give points during CVC. I mean, imagine the number of free points, right? I mean, let's say you have saved like 15 legendary books, right? And you have a lot of champion ascensions to do, and you will have like 5,000 points out of nowhere, right? That could also allow you to win this tournament, maybe, right? And get the additional 5 fragments. So every single 5 fragments will allow you to skip something, right? So for example, if you win one of these arena tournaments, you can skip this dungeon divers, right? It could be useful. I mean, if you have bought the double value minimix packs that appeared in the shop like a few weeks ago, right? 3 weeks ago or so, maybe you could burn them hard in here and try to win. That could be an idea. And finally, we have the spider tournament, and we do not start the spider tournament in 2 days actually, right? So I will advise against you doing the spider tournament in the CVC. You know, it's a little bit of a traitor move, but guys, I mean, this dungeon divers is not going to complete itself. And you wait for 2 days, and after the CVC ends, or maybe 1 hour before CVC ends, but they purposefully don't allow that. So this dungeon divers will probably start right after CVC is done, and after the CVC has ended, you go hard at the dungeon divers because that's when they overlap, and hopefully after a win with a lot of energy from the CVC personal win, and you complete the spider tournament and the dungeon divers, and finally gear cleanse that spider tournament and get the artifact enhancement event done. And that will be 100 fragments and you will be done. So guys, what I told you leaves out the 5 fragments from 8 tournaments, and it also leaves out the 15 additional fragments in the summon rush that will require you to open more shards. So this is based on having a basic amount of shards, right? I mean, like 3 sacreds and a little change maybe to get the 5 from summon rush. I'm of course just guessing, right, from my previous experience about fusions. They did not give out the structure yet, and you can forego of going the first 2 spots in all of the tournaments. You don't have to be in top 2 in any, but if you do, of course, it is extra, right? I mean, anything that you can do here will allow you to skip something, right? I mean, and the dungeon divers are the best targets, but if you have huge silver problems, you could, I guess, go for artifact enhancement events. Anyways, I wish you good luck with the fusion, guys, and I'll see you on the stream. Bye bye.